Millions wake up every day, sit in traffic, and punch the clock, only to realize their life is slowly slipping away. The 9 to 5 isn't just a job, it's a system designed to drain your time, money, and energy while keeping you dependent. Discover how this trap works, why most never see it coming, and what it takes to finally break free. Recognizing the 9 to 5 trap is only the beginning. Understanding it is one thing, but truly freeing yourself requires action. Small, deliberate changes that gradually shift control back to you. Breaking free doesn't have to mean quitting your job immediately or taking reckless risks. It can start quietly with choices that give you more control over your time, money, and energy. One of the most powerful ways to gain freedom is by taking control of your finances. Relying on a single paycheck leaves you vulnerable, tied to someone else's schedule and decisions. By creating additional sources of income, through side projects, freelancing, investing, or even small digital ventures, you slowly reduce that dependency. Even modest savings and investments can grow over time, giving you a safety net and more options. When money isn't fully controlled by your employer, leaving the traditional job becomes less frightening. Developing skills outside of your regular work is equally important. The 9 to 5 often limits growth to a narrow set of tasks dictated by your role, leaving little room for personal development. Learning skills that are valuable beyond your current job, like digital marketing, coding, writing, leadership, or financial management, expands your opportunities. Time spent mastering new skills becomes a long-term investment in your freedom. The more versatile and capable you become, the more opportunities appear outside the office walls. Regaining control over your time is another essential element. Many feel trapped because their schedule is dictated entirely by their employer. By carving out even small pockets of time for personal growth, learning, or creative projects, you start reclaiming a sense of independence. Over time, this ability to manage your own schedule strengthens confidence and makes larger transitions, like reducing hours, negotiating flexibility, or leaving entirely, more feasible. Time, after all, is the most valuable resource you have, and protecting it is crucial for long-term freedom. Shifting your mindset about risk and comfort also plays a critical role. The 9 to 5 encourages safety and conformity, but true growth often comes from stepping into uncertainty. By taking calculated risks, whether pitching a new idea, exploring a side hustle, or investing in an asset, you build resilience and confidence. Each small success demonstrates that freedom isn't dangerous. It's a series of deliberate, thoughtful decisions. Over time, taking risks becomes less intimidating and the path to independence becomes clearer. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people reinforces this journey. Many stay trapped because their social environment values stability over freedom. Finding mentors, communities, or networks focused on entrepreneurship, investing, or alternative lifestyles provides guidance, encouragement, and accountability. Seeing others succeed outside the 9 to 5 shows that it's possible and practical. You start to internalize that a different way of life isn't just a dream, it's achievable. Escaping the 9 to 5 trap is not about a single dramatic decision. It is a gradual process that requires awareness, planning, and consistent action. With each choice, whether financial, personal, or social, you move closer to independence. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your potential. Life slowly shifts from being dictated by an employer to being shaped by your own decisions. Eventually, freedom becomes tangible. The 9 to 5 may have felt like safety, but true security comes from having control over your own life, your money, and your time. The routine that once seemed inevitable begins to feel optional, and opportunities appear that were previously invisible. The 9 to 5 trap is powerful, but it is not unbreakable. Every deliberate choice moves you closer to living life on your terms. A steady paycheck can feel like security, but for many it quietly limits the ability to grow wealth. The 9 to 5 creates a ceiling on what you can earn and often keeps you dependent on someone else's decisions. Over time, this dependency can prevent you from building the financial future you truly want, no matter how hard you work. One of the most obvious ways a 9 to 5 limits financial growth is through income. Raises and promotions tend to be incremental, often smaller than the rising cost of living. Inflation slowly erodes the value of your paycheck, so even if your salary increases, your actual purchasing power may remain stagnant. Meanwhile, opportunities to earn outside the office, through investments, side projects, or entrepreneurial ventures, remain untapped. The result is a slow but steady drain on your long-term financial potential. Time and money are tightly linked in a 9-5. Every hour you spend at work is an hour you could have used to create additional income streams or develop skills that increase earning potential. Unlike a business or investment where income can grow independently of hours worked, a traditional job puts a hard limit on what you can earn. This trade-off creates a long-term ceiling that many never question because the routine feels normal. Lifestyle inflation adds another layer to the trap. When your paycheck increases, it's natural to upgrade your surroundings, a bigger apartment, a newer car, or more luxuries. While it feels like progress, it keeps you tied to the job. More income does not equal more freedom when spending rises alongside earnings. The paycheck remains necessary to maintain your lifestyle, reinforcing dependency and leaving little room for true financial growth. Debt is another silent consequence. Credit cards, car loans, and personal loans seem manageable when there is a steady income, but interest and penalties slowly siphon off your earnings. Many people feel in control, yet a large portion of their money is used to service debt rather than build wealth. This creates a cycle where income is spent reacting to obligations, not growing assets, which reinforces the trap over time. Social and psychological pressures compound the issue. Seeing peers upgrade their lifestyle, go on vacations, or buy luxury items can trigger the desire to keep up. At the same time, investing in financial education or alternative income streams may feel intimidating or unconventional. The result is that effort goes into maintaining appearances rather than building real independence. Over time, financial growth slows and reliance on a single paycheck becomes almost absolute. Breaking free requires awareness of these patterns. Recognizing that your earning potential is capped by the 9.5 is the first step toward change. Gradually taking actions, such as saving a higher percentage of income, investing in assets, or exploring side ventures, creates leverage. Each small decision shifts control from your employer to you. The more options you create, the less dependent you are on a single paycheck, and the closer you move to true financial freedom. The reality is that a 9.5 doesn't just pay a salary, it shapes the way you think about money, limits opportunities, and reinforces dependency. True financial security doesn't come from a predictable paycheck. It comes from multiple streams of income, smart investments, and choices that give you control over your resources. Once you understand how the 9-to-5 slowly drains your financial potential, it becomes clear that freedom is possible, but only if you take steps to create it yourself. The 9-to-5 trap is not just about money or hours. It also shapes your mind and emotions in ways that are often invisible. Over time, the routine, pressures, and expectations of a standard job create stress that can quietly take over your life. This mental and emotional weight keeps many people trapped, even when they are aware of the financial limitations. One of the most obvious effects is chronic stress. Deadlines, meetings, performance reviews, and office politics create constant pressure. Even if you enjoy your work, the demand to meet someone else's expectations can be exhausting. Commuting, multitasking, and long hours only make it worse. Many people bring this stress home, affecting their relationships, sleep, and overall well-being. The strain becomes normalized, so you accept it as part of life, but it slowly drains your energy and focus. The structure of a 9-to-5 also leads to decision fatigue. Many choices in your day are dictated by company rules or managers. From when to take breaks to how to complete tasks, your autonomy is limited. Over time, this reduces confidence in making independent decisions. When opportunities for freedom or entrepreneurship appear, fear and uncertainty feel overwhelming because your mind is used to following instructions instead of creating its own path. Motivation and creativity suffer as well. Work tasks are often repetitive, measured by standardized metrics and aimed at meeting someone else's goals. New ideas can be ignored or delayed, and personal passions may take a back seat. Over months and years, many people feel stuck in routines that do not inspire them, which can lead to frustration, boredom, and even depression. The emotional toll is subtle but powerful, gradually diminishing excitement for life outside work. Social pressures amplify the trap. Office culture, comparisons with colleagues, and expectations from peers can create invisible chains. Seeing others advance while you remain in place can trigger self-doubt or envy. At the same time, ambition is often hidden out of fear of judgment. These factors combine to make leaving the 9-to-5 seem risky or unattainable. Even outside work, the routine affects personal life. Weekends, evenings, and vacations are often consumed by errands, chores, or recovery from work. Mental energy is limited, leaving little room for side projects, learning new skills, or pursuing passions. This creates a cycle. Work drains energy, limited energy restricts growth, and restricted growth keeps you dependent on the routine. Freeing yourself from this mental and emotional weight begins with awareness. Much of the stress, fatigue, and limitation is not a personal failing. It is built into the system. Reclaiming small pieces of control over your time and choices strengthens confidence. Activities that build mental resilience, like personal projects, learning, or mindfulness, help restore energy and independence. Changing your environment and mindset is also key. Surrounding yourself with people who value growth, independence, and alternative paths provides motivation and perspective. Seeing examples of others who have escaped the traditional path reinforces that freedom is possible. Once the mind is freed from the subtle constraints of a 9-to-5, other aspects of life, financial, creative, and personal, become easier to control. Energy and focus return, fear diminishes, and the path to independence becomes clear. Mental and emotional liberation is essential because it allows you to make choices that your job has long prevented. Without it, financial or lifestyle changes alone are often not enough to escape the trap. Understanding the 9-to-5 trap is only the beginning. Real freedom comes when you start making choices that give you control over your life, your money, and your time. Breaking free doesn't mean quitting your job immediately or taking reckless risks. It begins with small, intentional actions that gradually create independence and open doors to opportunities outside the traditional routine. A major part of this process is taking control of your finances. Relying solely on a paycheck keeps you tied to someone else's schedule and decisions. Building additional streams of income through side projects, freelancing, investments, or digital ventures reduces this dependency. Even modest savings or investing in assets that generate passive income can create leverage over time. When your financial well-being doesn't rely entirely on a single source, leaving the traditional path feels less risky and more realistic. Expanding your skill set is equally important. Many 9-to-5 jobs focus on narrow tasks, leaving little room for personal growth. Learning skills that are valuable beyond your office, such as digital marketing, coding, writing, leadership, or investing, opens doors to alternative opportunities. The more versatile you become, the more options you have to pursue paths that lead to independence. Time spent developing skills outside of your job is an investment in your future freedom. Reclaiming control over your time is another key element. A rigid schedule can make life feel like it belongs entirely to someone else. By creating small pockets of time for personal projects, learning, or creative pursuits, you begin to regain autonomy. This practice strengthens confidence in managing larger decisions, such as negotiating flexibility, reducing hours, or eventually transitioning to full independence. Time is your most valuable resource, and learning to protect it is essential for long-term freedom. Shifting your mindset about risk is critical. The 9-to-5 encourages comfort and conformity, but true growth often requires stepping into uncertainty. Taking calculated risks, like pitching ideas, exploring side ventures, or investing in assets, helps build confidence and resilience. Each success reinforces that freedom is not dangerous but achievable through deliberate choices. Gradually, uncertainty becomes less intimidating and the path to independence becomes clearer. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people reinforces this journey. Many remain stuck because their environment prioritizes stability over growth. Mentors, communities, and networks focused on entrepreneurship, investing, or alternative lifestyles provide guidance, motivation, and accountability. Seeing others succeed outside the 9-to-5 helps you realize that creating a different life is not just possible, but practical and achievable. Escaping the 9-to-5 trap is a gradual process. Awareness, consistent action, and thoughtful choices in finances, skills, time management, mindset, and social connections all contribute to independence. Each step, no matter how small, shifts control from your employer to you. Slowly, life begins to feel less dictated by routines and more shaped by your decisions. Eventually, freedom becomes tangible. The 9-to-5 may have felt like safety, but true security comes from controlling your own time, money, and energy. The routine that once seemed inevitable starts to feel optional. Opportunities that were invisible before begin to appear. The 9-to-5 trap is powerful, but it is not unbreakable. Every choice you make brings you closer to living life on your own terms and creating the independence you've been seeking. Breaking free from the 9-to-5 trap is one thing, but living fully free is another. Once you've reclaimed your time, your money, and your mindset, the next challenge is building a life where you're in control every day. True freedom isn't just about leaving a job. It's about creating a lifestyle where choices are yours, energy is yours, and opportunities are unlimited. A key part of this freedom is financial independence. The paycheck-to-paycheck cycle no longer dictates your decisions. Your income comes from multiple sources, and your money works for you instead of the other way around. Investments, businesses, or passive income streams provide security that is far more reliable than a single employer. This independence gives you the power to say no to work that doesn't align with your goals, to take risks without fear, and to explore opportunities that excite you rather than just pay the bills. Freedom also comes from choosing how to spend your time. With the constraints of a 9-to-5 gone, you can prioritize what matters most. Some may choose to travel, learn new skills, start creative projects, or spend more time with family. Others may dedicate time to personal growth, mentorship, or building businesses. The point is that your schedule belongs to you, and every hour is spent intentionally rather than being dictated by someone else's priorities. Time becomes your most powerful asset. Maintaining a growth mindset is essential to living fully free. Independence is not a one-time achievement. It is a continual journey. Challenges will arise, and the world changes constantly, but the ability to learn, adapt, and take deliberate actions keeps you ahead. Being free doesn't mean avoiding work. It means aligning your effort with your goals, passions, and long-term vision. Each choice reinforces your autonomy and builds confidence in your ability to navigate uncertainty. Your relationships and environment also play a critical role. Surrounding yourself with people who value independence, creativity, and growth helps reinforce your path. Mentors, peers, and supportive communities provide perspective, guidance, and accountability. They remind you that living outside the 9 to 5 trap is not only possible but sustainable. At the same time, letting go of negative influences or those who prioritize conformity ensures your energy is spent building rather than being drained. Finally, living fully free is about purpose and fulfillment. Once the 9 to 5 no longer controls your life, you can focus on what truly matters to you. This might be building something meaningful, helping others, exploring passions, or simply living intentionally. Freedom is not just financial. It is emotional, creative, and psychological. It allows you to experience life on your terms with energy, excitement, and clarity. The journey from being trapped in a 9 to 5 to living fully free is gradual, but each choice moves you closer. Awareness, financial control, skill development, time management, mindset, and supportive relationships all combine to create independence. With every step, you reclaim a piece of your life that was once surrendered to routine. Ultimately, freedom is about control. It is about making decisions that align with your values and vision. The 9 to 5 may have felt safe, but true safety comes from creating a life where you are responsible for your own outcomes. When you embrace this approach, you are no longer trapped by schedules, expectations, or limitations. Life becomes an opportunity to grow, explore, and live fully on your terms. The trap exists only if you let it, and once you choose differently, it has no power over you.